We are quickly approaching 56,000 subscribers here on Seahawks Today. We're just 11 away from reaching that next milestone, and that means that we have a whole lot of new people watching us here on the channel. And so with that in mind, I want to survey the 12s out there. Are you a Seahawks fan from the state of Washington? If so, like the video. If not, comment and tell us where you are watching from. Would love to hear from all the 12s out there, whether you're here in the United States or abroad. Let your voice be heard, and we'll get started with this edition of Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on today's program. The second time that we are bringing you Seahawks news here on this Thursday, and we are talking all about Mark Schlereth, the Fox Sports NFL analyst and three-time Super Bowl champion. Had a lot of positive things to say about your Seattle Seahawks as they got the win over his Denver Broncos this past weekend. And he was very impressed with this team in Mike McDonald's coaching debut. We're going to tell you what he had to say and react to it, go over some numbers, and also let you hear from some others as well here on today's program. Let's get right to it. Mark Schlereth, in an interview with Seattle Sports Radio this past week, said, "I thought it might have been the best tackling performance I've ever witnessed in watching an NFL game." Now, that's some high praise from Mark Schlereth, and I love hearing that. But the numbers say a different story. Pro Football Focus gave the Seahawks a tackling grade of a 52.4, which was 19th best in the NFL for week one. So the numbers don't match up what Schlereth is saying here, that it was the best tackling performance in the history of the NFL. But nonetheless, I love what Schlereth said. I don't know if that was necessarily true, if that's actually the best tackling performance he's ever seen. But, hey, I love a good compliment just as much as the next guy, right? At the very least, you have to respect the appreciation that Mark Schlereth showed for this Seahawks team, a guy that's on that opposing side. He was rooting for the Denver Broncos, and yet still took the time to acknowledge, hey, this Seahawks defense, they got something figured out. But that wasn't all Schlereth had to say. He said the following: "Either we got a bunch of dudes in Denver that have zero athletic ability to break a tackle in space, or the Seahawks are the greatest tackling team I've ever witnessed. And maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't know that there was 2, 3, 4 yards after contact in that game by the Broncos. From my perspective, from the Broncos' perspective, it was one of the most pathetic performances I've watched. And at the same time, I was marveling at the Seahawks' ability to tackle, the way they broke on balls, the things they broke up." Now, while the numbers may not show what Schlereth is talking about here, the Seahawks defense certainly passed the eye test. The eye test of Mark Schlereth and others out there saying the same thing, that the Seahawks tackled so much better. And you think about what we've talked about previously in the Pete Carroll era and what the Seahawks did the last couple of seasons. What was one of the biggest struggles with this defense? It was tackling. It was a night and day difference from what we saw from the Seahawks defense on Sunday compared to what we've seen the last few years prior. They passed the eye test, and it wasn't just Mark Schlereth who took notice. Bo Nix, the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos that saw that Seahawks defense firsthand, he said this: "They got after us a lot of the game. We were able to move the ball there at the end, but yeah, I thought they had good team speed. They rallied in the football. They made open field tackles, and that's usually the sign of a good defense." So hats off to them. Hats off to Bo Nix for being honest and showing some praise for this Seahawks defense after a loss. That certainly takes a lot of courage. So salute to you, Bo Nix, and I wish you nothing but the best here. So with that said, you've heard it from the opposing side, the praise they've given this Seahawks team. Now let's hear from you guys. Our pinned comment today: do you believe in this Seahawks defense? Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in and let us know. We're going to be live here on Seahawks Today for our Seahawks Patriots watch party coming up this Sunday. Coverage will begin at 9 a.m. Pacific with our hour-long pregame show, and then we'll be live for the entire game and do a little post-game coverage as well. Big Tex is going to join me. We're going to have a great time. You will not want to miss out on it. Live here beginning 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern here on Seahawks Today. Join us then, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's go over some numbers here of those tackling grades from PFF of some individuals. Devon Witherspoon, who had a very good game, had a tackling grade of 80.2. And Mike McDonald talked this week that Devon Witherspoon could have done a little bit more, that he expected him to be able to complete some of those sacks against the quarterback, that those were missed opportunities. So even with a solid day and a really good grade, there was still room for improvement. Trey Brown with a 76.7 grade from PFF. Mike Morris even getting some love with a 70.7 grade. Julian Love, who led this team in tackling, had a 70.7 grade. And Draymond Jones also with a 70.5 grade. So although the team tackling grade wasn't that great, you had some individual standouts. 5 players with grades of 70 or above. So that's really, really good. Now, big picture when it comes to this of the tackling and where the Seahawks defense is at. If they keep up from what they showed week 1, if this was the real deal, then there's big things ahead for this Seahawks defense in 2024. If that was not just a one-time thing, if they do that consistently, then watch out. This Seahawks defense is going to be one of the best in football. But it's a week-to-week league. Let's see them continue to do that, show that consistency week in and week out. More from Mark Schlereth saying the following on the Seahawks defense. If all you do is tackle well, you're going to have a top-flight defense. If you just tackle well, you know it's going to be hard to score, and you're not going to give up a bunch of extra yardage up, so you're not going to have a bunch of explosive plays on you. If that's all you do is tackle well, you're going to be pretty stellar. I don't remember seeing a better tackling game by a defense than what I witnessed on Sunday. I thought they were amazing. It's a night and day difference from 2023. Just a simple thing, tackling. And here we are talking about this Seahawks defense. To me, that's a huge step forward, a big point of progress for this team at this point as far as I'm concerned. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more, Game Time has got you covered, folks. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Maybe you're looking for tickets to a Seahawks game like the home game against the Dolphins coming up here in a few weeks, or you're looking for Mariner tickets, Seattle Storm, whatever it may be. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat. Take advantage of their seat deals, their seat views. See what that seat is like. Get the visual, and then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Also be on the lookout for their super deals. If you stumble upon a super deal, that's a deal you don't want to miss on, folks. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. So let's go one by one, talk about the tackling leaders. Julian Love with a big day. He had 12 total tackles and 10 solo tackles in the win against Denver. Also had an interception as well, building on that Pro Bowl campaign from a season ago. Tyrel Dodson, his first game as the Seahawks green dot linebacker, and he impressed with 10 total tackles, 9 solo tackles. You have to like what you saw from him. We mentioned Devon Witherspoon earlier. He finished with 7 total tackles and 5 solo tackles. Rayshawn Jenkins, one of the guys that I was high on and didn't get a whole lot of respect nationally. I thought he had a solid showing with 6 total tackles and 6 solo tackles as well. And then Jerome Baker, who's playing alongside Tyrel Dodson, he made his presence known as well. He finished with 5 tackles and 3 solo tackles. Let's hear from Julian Love, the Seahawks safety, what he had to say on this team's tackling efforts. He said this: I think AD, our DB's coaches, obviously, and Mike had a good plan, and we executed it. Play top down and tackle when they check down. He, Bo Nix, is going to get the ball out quick. And so that's why you saw a lot of checkdowns today and a lot of great tackling. So now, going forward from here, you take on this New England Patriots team who I think offensively is going to have a similar game plan to what the Denver Broncos did. They're not going to throw the ball deep a whole lot. It is going to be a lot of checkdowns and a lot of screens. So if the Seahawks defense comes up with a similar game plan, I think the results are going to be a lot like what we saw against this Denver team a week ago. The best is yet to come, folks. Buckle up. What's your confidence level in the Seahawks defense right now? Scale it for me 1 through 10. How you feeling about this group? Way in the comment section. Let us know. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today, and we certainly would appreciate it for continuing Seahawks coverage. Lock us in. We'll see you on our watch party coming up later on this weekend, this Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Seahawks Today.